This is Nick from ReviewOutlaw.com. Today I want to show you my plan to cruise or troller down the Intercoastal. So this is actually a map, a Google map of a drive down, and I'm not planning on driving, I'm planning on actually taking a boat. And the boat I'm planning on taking is a Monterey. It's actually 2013. Here's a couple of pictures of the inside and stuff like that. And you might also be planning on sailing down the Intercoastal. My starting port is Cohasset Marina, that's Warwick, Rhode Island. And my ending point is Jacksonville, Florida. So a couple things that you might be looking at is how much is this going to cost in gas? Am I better off shipping my boat down? How much time is this going to take? Time away from work and things like that. Things you have to consider. And then physically, can my boat make it from one port to the next port? Do I have enough gas to get there? Or even if you're a sailboat, for the most part, when you're going down the Intercoastal, you're going to be going under engine power. And this is obviously not a sailboat. This is a power boat, and it's not a diesel. Diesel, you'd have better gas mileage, but it's got a dual engine, which is important for me in case one fails. And I have had some engine problems before, and we run under one engine, so it's good to kind of know what happens if something fails. So definitely recommend at least two engines. The first part of the trip, I'm going to break out the trip for you, is I've split it into 8 legs. But basically, we're going to go down here in the coastal, go down to New York, New Jersey. Then we're going to make a long stretch down to Norfolk. And then once you hit Norfolk, that's the truly beginning of the Intercoastal. And that's mile marker 0. And then you can go behind the coast. And that's going to be a lot easier, faster drive. So what you're going to want to do is we just got the boat this year, so we've got a couple test runs in. So I'm going to show you my test runs and how we came up with that. So we did a test run from Providence to Boston, and basically what I estimated was 129 miles, 7 hours, 83 gallons of gas, and this much, $664 if gas was $4 per gallon. I just estimated high, just give myself a cost. And so where I got that number from is you can use a navigation app. Now there's one that's free here. I'm going to give you a link, and it's called Navtronics. This is what it looks like. So you can actually put in, and there's a couple different ways to do it, but you can just search for your starting port, Cohasset, and then your destination port. So let's say we're going to Boston, you can basically search for Boston. Now the one thing is this is a bit slow, this app. It's Boston. So it takes a while to actually calculate it, but on the plus side, it will only take you in deep water, and you're going to put in your information under boat settings, under here as far as the cruising speed. Now I'm putting 31 miles per hour, and I've done some tests to figure that out. That's in good conditions, really flat. If I leave like 7 a.m. in the morning, super flat, and that's what I plan to do, is basically cruise for about 5 to 7 hours per day at about 4,000 RPMs. My fuel consumption is about 12 gallons per hour, and that's per engine, so it's actually double that. But just for my math, it's easier for me just to put single consumption here. And my draft's about 4 feet. So what you're going to do is you're going to calculate this, which you have your destination here, and we can hit save. And basically, it's gonna plot out the course, and it's gonna give you these different times. I'm gonna stop this. Basically, start from scratch. You hit automatic, start destination, Cohasset to finish, and we'll put Boston. And we can pick a different places in Boston Bay Marina. Now, see, it basically does a line right through the screen. Obviously, and then you can see calculating. It needs to go through a canal, so it's a bit of a tricky, way to go, and that adds a lot of calculations into here. But that's going to give you a true kind of idea of what the trip is. Now, based off the Boston trip, this is how I'm going to get my main number. So on the way from Rhode Island to Boston, and we went to Constitution Marina, great marina if you're in Boston area. But basically, the actual true time that we hit was, the miles were pretty much accurate, 127. The time, though, it only took 5 hours to get there because we went a lot faster than initially had thought, which then used less gas because I'm running for less time. I only used 62 gallons of gas, so it was $327. So the key is when you do your test run, fill up your gas all the way, and then drive it and go right to the gas station at the arrival marina so you get a good gauge of how much gas it's going to use, because that's key. You want to figure out the cruising speed you're going to be on good weather conditions and another cruising time on bad weather conditions. And you're going to figure out how many gallons did you basically put in. And this is the total gallons, 62 gallons. Actually, no, sorry, that's 62 gallons per side. So that was a single side. I have two tanks. And sorry I'm going fast here, but there's a lot to this. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comments. A little bit more about my boat. I kind of skip ahead. The boat holds about 210 gallons, and you can get that from your gauge, or you can search your boat and see how many gallons it holds. So it holds 210. That's 105 per side. I don't want to use more than 90 gallons per side. And whenever I'm talking here, I'm going to try to talk per side because it's just easier. We have dual engines. Some people might have single engines. Just think of it, just split it in half. So I have 105 gallons per side. But I want to have at least some playroom. So when I calculate this whole thing out, I want to just do 90 gallons per side. So as you can see under my calculations, we were less than 90 gallons. We're 83 on worst case scenario, but we actually ended up only doing, that was my estimate, we only actually ended up doing 62. Now the way back, we hit some bad weather, had to slow down. We did an average of 26 miles per hour on the way back. So there's about 5 miles per hour slower. That added an hour of time, which of course correlates with gas. So the longer you drive, you're going to use more gas. More expensive on the way back. The miles were around the same. Took a slightly different route, but that was my test case. So now I have a kind of 2 long distance test cases. Now I can go through and do my full stretch of the trip and get an idea of how long it's going to take to get from Rhode Island to Florida. So this was my first initial kind of before testing anything. I just did really slow, going 21 miles per hour, which would be really slow from my particular boat. And I wanted to go no more than 1 per day, basically leave in the morning, arrive in the marina about 2 to 3 o'clock, check in, and then have the day to explore the town that we're going to visit. So I went through here. We went Queeset to New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and then finally we're in Florida on that last day. Again, this will be the worst case, and you can see, and then actually I'd planned going down to Fort Lauderdale. This is a little bit of an extra trip. I've decided to delay that after the first month of just being in Lamb's Yacht Center. So you can see a lot of distance total, a lot of hours, a lot of gallons of gas, and this is per side also, so that's why it's so expensive. And then you have the gas costs, and then per night. This is based off of cruising 20 miles per hour, 12 gallons per hour. And I also, just out of curiosity, want to see how much would be shipped my boat, the size of my boat, down to Florida. And I was estimating anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000. So, looking at the 8,000, wow, maybe you're better off shipping that down. Just a link to the map, and then a couple dockage searches. You do want to look at dockage, because I was surprised how expensive it was down there, and ended up finding much cheaper dockage in Jacksonville. So a couple different spots here that I checked out. All right, so let's go down to the more realistic one. After my first test, I recalculated everything and was actually able to go cut a lot of these days out. So we went to Queeset to New Jersey, New York, and then so Warwick to New York, and then to New Jersey. And then, so I have a bad weather spot here in case we hit bad weather, because this is a big stretch. As you can see, this is a 7-hour day. So if we hit bad weather or something like that, I do have an emergency stop right here, or a pullover stop in Maryland. But otherwise, I'm going to try to hit that and go the whole distance. As you can see, I'm still under gallons, under 105 by a good distance. And then we got North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and then Florida. And I have the phone numbers of the different marinas. Can we use Dockwalla and get a price ahead of time, looking about $500. This is my gas cost. And I have a little calculation in here, just multiplying this by 8. So $8, assuming that we're paying $4 per gallon, and I'm doubling this, and that's why these numbers kind of look a little wacky. But totally got about 40 hours and almost 1,200 miles. And you're looking at the driving distance, I mean, you're basically around 1,200 miles driving it, and the time, it'd be 17 hours driving it. You think you'd probably drive 65 miles per hour, most of that. So looking at the boat drive, you're doing half of that, 31, a little bit more than half that. So the time kind of lines up. Everything makes sense logically. And so you have to break it out, and you finally got it calculated here. And this was that trip I took. And as you can see, the blue line goes through. Let me zoom in here a little bit. And some of these spots, you know, you can only go 10 miles an hour, 5 miles per hour, no wake zones when you get closer inlet. So that's all something to consider. This was the Boston trip. It just goes through the Cape Cod Canal, which was pretty neat. But this whole time we had to go slow. And it's something sometimes the software doesn't calculate for. And depending on how tall your boat is, you also have to think about the overhead power cables, because I've seen issues before where these different mapping companies don't actually take that into account. So it had me go away, and when I got there, I'm like, whoa, no way my boat can fit underneath that. So something to consider. Always use your eyes and use the map as a secondary. And so this is the start point up here. And what's funny here, it says this little red line means that you're supposed to go slow, but actually when we drive here, there's no signs at all to go slow. So the map can be definitely wrong. At this point, you should be going fast, and up here you should be going slow, and there's no red line to indicate that. But the distance is about right, 5 hours, 61, and 111 miles per hour. So that would just be one stretch, and you could save that, take pictures of that, but every day we're going to just recalculate that, look at the weather, trying to get those first 3 days. So when we leave, plan is go behind Long Island Sound, stop in New York here. We're gonna go around the Atlantic, stop in Atlantic City, and then this is the day that we're doing the long 7-hour run, and we're going as fast as we can down here at the ocean. Hopefully we get a nice flat day, and this is where we're going to go into Norfolk, and Norfolk's up this little cove here, and that starts the intercoastal, which is right around, yeah, right around here. And that begins intercoastal, and then you can see, then you're behind nice flat area. It is a bit weavy, but you know, you have nice flat water, so you can just cruise nice and fast. And there are some spots that we're gonna have to slow down. But that's basically how you want to calculate your gas cost, the time it's going to take. You might, you know, only be able to do it on weekends, so you're gonna have maybe longer stretches. Each one of these marinas has a gas station. That was very important for me, so I can just go right to the gas station, fill up that night, so in the morning I can leave super early and not worry about any of that. So that's the plan. I'm going to keep you guys updated on the video as we progress down the intercoastal and how that goes, and might, you know, we have to add a couple more stops into here. We might want to take our time and check some of these different cities out, but super excited to do this. This is the first time we're going down intercoastal down to Florida with a boat, so should be exciting. All right, guys, hope you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Thanks. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. If you have time, please subscribe to my channel, click here to watch more videos, or please give me a thumbs up. Thanks.